Want to speak real Portuguese from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at PortuguesePod101.com.
Hi guys! Oi gente, tudo bom? Paloma here. Welcome to Top 15 Favorite Words, chosen by fans. Amor, love. Amor is probably one of the favorite words in many languages. So you can say amor to call someone you love, like honey or my love in English. But you can also use the verb amar, which is to love. Eu te amo, I love you. Feliz, happy. We use happy to say congratulations or happy birthday to someone. Feliz aniversário. But you can also say eu estou feliz, I'm happy. Frequentemente, often. Probably someone chose this word because it's a little difficult to say. You could say eu frequentemente vou à praia. I often go to the beach. Hoje, today. Hoje eu estou estudando português. Today I'm studying Portuguese. Jesus Cristo. Jesus Christ. This is probably a good word for Christians. Some expressions you can use is, for example, Jesus amado, my loved Jesus. Nascimento, birth. We could relate nascimento with Jesus Christ. And we have, for example, o Natal é o nascimento de Jesus Cristo. Christmas is the birth of Jesus Christ. Olá, hello. If you want to introduce yourself, you could say olá and also oi, which is the quickest way to say it. Olá, gente. Hi, everyone. Pantufa, slipper. Some people use pantufas in Brazil, but since it's very hot, some people also use chinelos or sandals when they are at home. No inverno, eu gosto de usar pantufas. On winter, I like to wear slippers. Querer, want. You can use querer to say that you want to order something. Eu quero copo de água. I want a glass of water. And you can also say, eu quero visitar o Brasil. I want to visit Brazil. Tchau, bye. When we are leaving, we say tchau or tchau tchau. Is the way to say goodbye. We hardly ever say adeus, which is goodbye. This sounds very formal and very sad because it means you'll never see the person again. You can also say até mais or see you soon. Junto, together. You can say eu quero ficar junto com você. I want to be together with you. Liberdade, freedom. In São Paulo, there's a famous subway station and also a neighborhood called Liberdade. It was before a Japanese neighborhood, but now we have many Chinese and Koreans too. Eu vou pra Liberdade comer comida japonesa. I go to Liberdade to eat Japanese food. A Estátua da Liberdade está em Nova York. The Statue of Liberty is in New York. Salvação, salvation. Eu não estudei para a prova, mas a professora cancelou. Essa foi a minha salvação. I didn't study for the test, but the teacher canceled. That was my salvation. Saudade, nostalgia. Saudade is one of the most favorite words in Portuguese because it's kind of hard to translate it to other languages. You could say nostalgia or to miss someone. Eu fiquei com muitas saudades de você. I missed you. Or que saudades daquela época. How I miss those times. Tá bom. Okay. Tá bom is a very useful phrase because if someone says something and you want to agree with her, you can just say, tá bom. Yeah, that's okay. O vídeo já está terminando, tá bom? The video is about to end, okay? Okay, guys, see you next time. Tudo bem? And bye-bye. Tchau, tchau. I like to wear pantufas, slippers. Bom dia, gente. Tudo bom? How are you? Paloma here. Our topic today is Top 10 Brazilian Foods. Acarajé. Acarajé. Acarajé is a deep-fried pastry with some fillings that are usually hot, very spicy. O acarajé é o prato típico da Bahia. Acarajé is the typical dish of Bahia State. Baião de dois. Baião de dois. Baião de dois is a very common dish and it mixes beans and rice and pulled meat. It's very delicious, you should try it. O prato do dia é baião de dois. Today's dish is baião de dois. Brigadeiro. Brigadeiro. It's a candy made of condensed milk with chocolate. And it's super delicious, super sweet. It's a must-have in birthdays in Brazil. Nós fizemos 200 de brigadeiro para o aniversário.
We made 200 brigadeiros for the birthday. Churrasco, barbecue. Brazilian barbecue is very simple. We usually just put some salt on it and put on the grill. You can also go to Brazilian barbecue houses that are called churrascaria. Nós fomos na churrascaria ontem à noite e comemos demais. We went to the barbecue house yesterday and we ate a lot. Doce de abóbora, pumpkin jam. In Brazil there are many kinds of sweets not made of chocolate. For example, pumpkin sweets, papaya sweets. There's also coconut, there's used a lot. If you don't like chocolate, you probably like a lot those kind of sweets. Nós compramos doce de abóbora para comer com queijo branco. We bought pumpkin jam to eat with white cheese. Feijoada. Feijoada. Feijoada is one of the most traditional dishes in Brazil. It's kind of a stew made of beans and meat, for example, sausages, bacon, and cured meat. And we usually eat it with rice, white rice, and kale. Also, sometimes we add some oranges, slices, and farofa. Farofa is kind of a flour made of manioc, cassava. It's a very strong dish, so you shouldn't eat it before a meeting or something important because you'll be very, very sleepy after that. Sábado vai ter uma feijoada deliciosa lá em casa. Saturday there's going to be a very delicious feijoada at home. Paçoca. Paçoca. Paçoca is a sweet made of peanuts. It's usually cylinder shape or rectangular shape. Nós comemos muita paçoca na época de festa junina. We eat a lot of paçoca during Ginseng's time. Pastel. Pastel. Pastel is a deep fried pastry filled with whatever you want. It could be meat, could be chicken, could be pizza that we call it is cheese with tomato or cheese with ham or even banana with chocolate. Yeah, you choose. Eu comi pastel com caldo de cana hoje. I ate pastel with sugarcane drink today. In street markets, it's very common to eat pastel and sugarcane drink, which is the juice made from the sugarcane. Queijo de Minas. Minas cheese. Minas state has many kinds of cheeses, and the most famous one is the queijo de Minas, which is also called queijo branco, white cheese. You can use it with savory things, like in a sandwich with ham, but you can also use it with sweet things. For example, with doce de leite is a sweet made of milk, or goiabada jam. It's very, very delicious. Eu vou comer Romeu e Julieta, que é goiabada com queijo Minas. I'll eat Romeo and Juliet, which is guava jam with Minas cheese. Quindim. Quindim is a sweet basically made of egg yolk, a lot of sugar, and coconut. It's very sweet, and I really like it, but it's full of calories, so you can just try one or two. O quindim da minha avó é maravilhoso. My grandma's quindim is marvelous. Okay, that's it for today. I hope you like our lesson and I hope you try all these Brazilian dishes. Let us know which one is your favorite. See you next time. Tchau, tchau.
Tudo bem?
Tudo bem.
Eu me chamo Nayara. E você, como se chama?
Me chamo Michael. Prazer em conhecê-la, Nayara.
O prazer foi meu.
Como vai?
Vou bem. E você, como vai?
Tá bem.
Que bom.
De onde você é, Nayara?
Sou de São Paulo. E você? Onde você mora?
Em Seattle.
Onde fica?
Washington.
A capital?
Não, o estado.
Eu sou brasileira. E você?
Não sou brasileiro. Sou americano. E você? Não, eu sou italiano.
Vou para Salvador com meu namorado.
Você tem namorado?
Sim, eu tenho namorada. É ele.
Foi um prazer conhecê-la.
O prazer foi nosso. Oi, tudo bem?
Oi, tudo bem? Você fala português?
Sim, eu falo português. Você é brasileiro?
Sim, eu sou. Meu amigo Ben, ali, ele é da Inglaterra.
Ele fala português?
fluentemente.
Família! E aí galera, tudo bem? Paloma here. Welcome to another Top Portuguese Words. Today's topic is 15 must-know family words. Família, family. Família, family. Eu amo a minha família. I love my family. Você ama a sua família? Do you love your family? I do. Eu amo. What can I say? Family. Família é família. Pai, father. Pai, father. Eu chamo meu pai de papai. I call my dad daddy. Well, papai is usually used by kids, and pai is a more neutral way to say it. But you can just use both, pai or papai. Esposo, husband. Esposo, husband. Meu esposo trabalha numa empresa multinacional. My husband works at a multinational company. You can use esposo or marido. Both are correct. Meu esposo or o meu marido. Filho, son. Filho, son. Essa moça tem 3 filhos e nenhuma filha. This lady has 3 sons but no daughter. So in my family's case, my mom's case would be, ela tem 2 filhas, mas nenhum filho. She has 2 daughters but no son. Irmão, brother. Irmão, brother. Quantos irmãos você tem? How many brothers or siblings do you have? Usually we ask this question, quantos irmãos você tem? And that means both brothers and sisters. Because in Portuguese we usually use the masculine plural form to refer to a group of people. You can also use the word in English, brother, but then that would mean a very close friend. You know, like a bro. E aí, brother? Hey, bro. Tio, uncle. Tio, uncle. Meu tio é muito legal. My uncle is so cool. You can also use the word tio to refer to someone that you don't know in the street, like an adult that you don't know the street, a male adult. We usually say tiozinho. For example, o tiozinho da farmácia, the man from the drugstore. But just make sure to not offend anyone. It's not offensive, but maybe someone may be offended by that. So, you know, you can just refer to someone, but don't say that to their faces. Avô, grandfather. Avô, grandfather. O avô dela é japonês. Her grandfather is Japanese. Okay, so again, the diminutives of the words. The diminutive of avô is vovô. O meu vovô é japonês. My grandpa is Japanese. Sogro, father-in-law. Sogro, father-in-law. Quantos anos tem o seu sogro? How old is your father-in-law? Okay, so don't try to translate father-in-law to Portuguese directly. That would be like a mess and no one will understand you. Just remember the word. Sogro. Mãe. Mother. Mãe. Mother. Minha mãe é professora. My mother is a teacher or professor. So, how would you say mommy? That would be mamãe. Minha mãe, a minha mamãe. Filha, daughter. Filha, daughter. Qual é o nome da sua filha? What is the name of your daughter? So some people may have difficulties to say the lha. Just imagine the H is an I or a Y. Filha, filha. And if you say fila, that would mean a line. So make sure to say filha and not fila, okay? Irmã, sister. Irmã, sister. Minha irmã é mais velha do que eu. My sister is older than me. Well, actually in my case, my sister's not older than me, but she's taller than me. A minha irmã é mais alta do que eu. Esposa, wife. Esposa, wife. Você conhece a esposa dele? Do you know his wife? So we usually use esposo and esposa and marido e mulher. So you can say mulher, which means woman, to refer to someone's wife. Você conhece a mulher dele? Would mean the same thing.
Sogra, mother-in-law. Sogra, mother-in-law. Minha sogra é um amor de pessoa. My mother-in-law is a sweetheart. There's actually a sweet in Brazil that is called olho de sogra. Eye of mother-in-law. Yeah, it sounds a little strange, right? But it's good. It's very sweet, but it's good. Avó, grandmother. Avó, grandmother. Eu amo o pudim da minha avó. I love my grandmother's pudding. Well, I think grandmother's food is always delicious. What is your favorite food from grandma? Let us know in the comments. Oh, by the way, grandma would be vovó. O meu vovô e a minha vovó. Can you hear the difference? Avô, avó. Vovô, vovó. Tia, aunt. Tia, aunt. O bolo da minha tia é o melhor. My aunt's cake is the best. It really is. I love my aunt's bolo de cenoura or carrot cake. And don't forget, the diminutive would be titia. Okay, that's all for today. Thanks a lot for watching, and don't forget to let us know in the comments how many family members do you have. Até a próxima. See you next time. Tchau. Well, in my case, my sister's not. E aí, gente, tudo bom? Paloma here. Welcome to another Top Portuguese Words. Today's topic is Top 10 phrases tourists should never use. Que nojo. Disgusting. Que nojo. Disgusting. Nojo means disgust, and nojento is the adjective, disgusting. So you can say que nojo or que nojento. O meu país é muito melhor do que o seu. My country is much better than yours. O meu país é muito melhor que o seu. My country is much better than yours. No, instead of saying that, you should always say eu amo seu país. I love your country. Eu preferia estar na minha casa. I'd rather be back home. Eu preferia estar na minha casa. I'd rather be back home. Well, if you're saying that, maybe it's just better to stay at home. Instead of this sentence, you should say, eu não quero mais voltar para casa. I don't want to go home anymore. Cala a boca. Shut up. Cala a boca. Shut up. Cala a boca. Actually, you shouldn't use this sentence in your country or in another country or anywhere. Instead, you can say, eu acho português muito bonito. I think Portuguese is very beautiful. Eu não estou muito interessado na sua cultura. I'm not very interested in your culture. Eu não estou muito interessado na sua cultura. I'm not very interested in your culture. Eu não estou muito interessado na sua cultura. Instead, you can say, a sua cultura é fascinante. Your culture is fascinating. Não gosto de conhecer gente nova. I don't like meeting new people. Não gosto de conhecer gente nova. I don't like meeting new people. Não gosto de conhecer gente nova. No, instead of the sentence, say, eu adoro fazer novas amizades. I love to make new friendships. Vamos comer no McDonald's mesmo. Let's just eat at McDonald's. Vamos comer no McDonald's mesmo. Let's just eat at McDonald's. That is so sad to go to another country and have so many flavorful foods to try and just eat McDonald's. Instead, you should say, what is the typical food in here? Qual é a comida típica daqui? Qual é a comida típica daqui? Isso é horrível. This is awful. Isso é horrível. This is awful. To make the sentence positive, you can say, isso é maravilhoso. This is wonderful. Isso é maravilhoso. Que tonto. How stupid. Que tonto. How stupid. Que tonto. You can be more polite and just say, que diferente.
That's different. Vocês não são civilizados. You people are uncivilized. Vocês não são civilizados. You people are uncivilized. Well, that's like the worst thing you can say to anyone, right? Okay, that's all for today. Thanks a lot for watching and let us know in the comments what other phrases you think we shouldn't use while in a foreign country. Até mais, até a próxima, tchau!
You are at a bus terminal where you're attempting to buy a ticket from a ticket counter. There are 4 different counters. Which counter should you line up at to go to BELO Horizonte City? Which counter should you line up at to go to BELO Horizonte City? The third counter is the counter for bus tickets that go to BELO Horizonte City.
Terceiro guichê, Belo Horizonte.
You are at a bus terminal where you've just bought a long-distance ticket. Which row and seat number are you in? Which row and seat number are you in? The ticket says that you're in the 8th row in seat C.
Oitava fileira, assento C.
You are at a bus terminal where you're reading the schedule for long-distance buses. On which days are there no buses running? On which days are there no buses running? There are no buses running on public holidays and the 3rd Sunday of every month.
Feriados nacionais, terceiro domingo do mês.
Want to speak real Portuguese from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at PortuguesePod101.com. You are at a bus stop where you're waiting for the 301 bus. There is a notice posted on the bus timetable. What does the notice say? What does the notice say? The notice reads, "The 301 bus does not stop here."
O ônibus 301 não para aqui.
You just got off a bus at a bus terminal and you're looking to catch a taxi. Which direction should you go to get to the taxi rank? which direction should you go to get to the taxi rank? You should head east to get to the taxi rank.
Leste.
Want to speak real Portuguese from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at PortuguesePod101.com.
Oi, meu nome é Paloma. Prazer. Hi, I'm Paloma. Nice to meet you. In this series, we are going to learn basic Portuguese expressions. It's super easy and it takes only 3 minutes. It also takes only 3 sentences. In this lesson, you're going to learn how to introduce yourself in Portuguese. It may vary a little depending on the person you're talking to. Let's first take a look at the most common way. Oi, meu nome é Paloma. Prazer em conhecê-lo. Hi, I'm Paloma. It's a pleasure to meet you. Oi, meu nome é Paloma. Prazer em conhecê-lo. Start by saying, Oi, meu nome é. Then say your name. Oi, meu nome é Paloma. Finally, say, prazer em conhecê-lo. Oi, meu nome é Paloma. Prazer em conhecê-lo. Please pay attention to the end of the sentence. This version is only used if you're introducing yourself to a man, because you say conhecê-lo. If you're introducing yourself to a woman, you should use conhecê-la. So the full sentence to introduce yourself to a woman would be Oi, meu nome é Paloma. Prazer em conhecê-la. Here's a quick tip to help you if you don't remember which article to use in the end of the sentence. Just use prazer. Prazer. Oi, meu nome é Paloma. Prazer. Oi, meu nome é Paloma. Prazer. Let's check what you've learned. Based on who I'm talking to, try to remember how to introduce yourself. Oi, meu nome é Paloma. Prazer. Oi, meu nome é Paloma. Prazer em conhecê-la. Oi, meu nome é Paloma. Prazer em conhecê-lo. When introducing yourself in Brazil, it's polite to shake hands. This is used in formal situations. In a more informal situation, people may kiss you on the cheek. The number of kisses may vary from person to person or region. Some people only kiss once, but others may kiss you 2 or even 3 times. Now it's time for Paloma's point. If you're introducing yourself to a group, you should say either conhecê-los or conhecê-las. If the group is all men or a mix of men and women, say conhecê-los. If the group is woman only, use conhecê-las. In the last lesson, we learned how to introduce ourselves in Portuguese. As good manners are a must everywhere, today we are going to learn how to thank people. Vocês estão prontos? Are you ready? Vamos começar. Then let's start. There are several ways to thank someone. Let's start with the most common phrase, obrigado. Obrigado. Obrigado means thank you. To say thank you very much, you just need to add muito in the beginning. Muito obrigado. Muito obrigado. Muito means a lot. So, muito obrigado is like saying thank you very much. In the last lesson, we saw that Portuguese words may vary according to gender. You say obrigado if you are a man. If you are a woman, you should say obrigada. Obrigada. When someone thanks you, how should you answer? There are a few things you can say. The first is de nada. De nada. This means it's nothing. You're telling the person that it's nothing worth thanking you for. There's another phrase that is often used to mean you're welcome in Portuguese. Disponha. It means welcome in English, but it's not used as often as de nada. Time for another quiz. What do you say in these situations? Muito obrigada. Muito obrigado. De nada. Now it's time for Paloma's point. In Brazil, we sometimes cut words when we are talking. For example, it's very common to hear brigado instead of obrigado. Don't get confused between brigado, that means fight, and brigado, thank you. Vocês estão prontos? Are you ready? Then let's start. The most common informal greeting is Oi. Oi. Oi means hello. We say it when we meet someone. You may also say Olá. That also means hello. Olá. Another common greeting that you hear a lot in Brazil and at PortuguesePod101.com is Tudo bem? Tudo bem? Tudo bem means is everything fine? We use it usually together with Oi or Olá to greet someone. Altogether, you can say Oi, tudo bem? Oi, tudo bem? Tudo bem is a question, but it can also be the answer. Just say tudo bem, which means everything is fine. At the end, you can add e você. And you? Tudo bem, e você? Tudo bem, e você? When it's time to leave, we have a couple of different ways to say goodbye. You may say tchau. Tchau means bye. Tchau. You can also say see you soon. Até mais. Até mais. You also have adeus, which means goodbye, but you usually use it when the person is leaving to somewhere far or you're not going to meet for some time. Adeus. You learned a lot of new phrases today. Let's review with a quiz. What do you say in these situations? Oi. Olá. Oi, tudo bem? Tudo bem. E você? Tchau. Até mais. Adeus. You now know lots of ways to greet people in Portuguese. Now it's time for Paloma's point. You often hear people saying tudo bom instead of tudo bem in Brazil. Bem means well and bom means good, but you usually use both in the same situations, although tudo bem is more grammatically correct.
Uma mulher está perguntando alguma coisa para o vendedor de uma livraria. Qual livro a mulher quer ver? Com licença, eu gostaria de dar uma olhada em um livro daquela estante.
Qual livro a senhora gostaria?
Aquele livro sobre carros.
Um momento, por favor. Este daqui?
Isso mesmo.
Aqui está.
Qual livro a mulher quer ver? Uma mulher está perguntando alguma coisa para o vendedor de uma livraria. Qual livro a mulher quer ver? Com licença, eu gostaria de dar uma olhada em um livro daquela estante.
Qual livro a senhora gostaria?
Aquele livro sobre carros.
Um momento, por favor. Este daqui?
Isso mesmo.
Aqui está.
Um homem e uma mulher estão vendo o cardápio em um restaurante. O que o homem pediu?
O que você vai pedir?
Esta pizza parece deliciosa. Eu vou pedir isto.
Eu comi pizza ontem, então...
Então que tal esse hambúrguer?
Boa ideia! Vou pedir isto.
O que o homem pediu? Um homem e uma mulher estão vendo o cardápio em um restaurante. O que o homem pediu?
O que você vai pedir?
Esta pizza parece deliciosa. Eu vou pedir isto.
Eu comi pizza ontem, então...
Então que tal esse hambúrguer?
Boa ideia! Vou pedir isto.
Um homem está falando com a recepcionista de uma clínica no telefone. A que horas o homem precisa chegar lá? Alô, pois não?
Alô? Até que horas vocês estão abertos hoje?
Até às 6, mas venha antes das 5:30, por favor.
Tudo bem. Obrigado.
A que horas o homem precisa chegar lá? Um homem está falando com a recepcionista de uma clínica no telefone. A que horas o homem precisa chegar lá? Alô, pois não?
Alô? Até que horas vocês estão abertos hoje?
Até às 6, mas venha antes das 5:30, por favor.
Tudo bem, obrigado.
O menino está lendo seu diário. Qual foi a primeira coisa que o menino fez esse dia?
Estava um tempo bem gostoso hoje. Eu fui para a piscina à tarde e fui ver um filme à noite. Eu também estudei de manhã. Foi um dia muito bom.
Qual foi a primeira coisa que o menino fez esse dia? O menino está lendo seu diário. Qual foi a primeira coisa que o menino fez esse dia?
Estava um tempo bem gostoso hoje. Eu fui para a piscina à tarde e fui ver um filme à noite. Eu também estudei de manhã. Foi um dia muito bom.
A mulher e o homem estão olhando uma foto. Qual foto eles estão olhando? Esta é a foto do time de futebol do seu filho, né? Qual deles é o seu filho?
Este daqui.
Uau! Ele é o mais alto do time.
Ele é mais alto do que eu também.
Qual foto eles estão olhando? A mulher e o homem estão olhando uma foto. Qual foto eles estão olhando? Esta é a foto do time de futebol do seu filho, né? Qual deles é o seu filho?
Este daqui.
Uau! Ele é o mais alto do time.
Ele é mais alto do que eu também.
In this lesson, we are going to learn a very useful phrase. Do you speak English? If you find yourself in a situation where you need assistance in English, this phrase can be a lifesaver. And because you're asking it in Portuguese, you can be sure that everyone will understand what you're saying, even if their answer is no. Here's the informal way to say it. Você fala inglês? Você fala inglês? In Portuguese, verbs change depending on the pronoun that is used. Please notice the word você in the beginning of the sentence. This is the informal way to say you. The next word is the verb falar, which means to speak. Because it's referring to você, it is conjugated to você fala. And you probably recognize inglês to be English. Você fala inglês? To learn how to properly conjugate verbs in Portuguese, like falar, please look at our beginner series on PortuguesePod101.com. You can find very detailed grammar lessons and resources there. If you're talking with young people or someone the same age as you can add a small word to sound more natural. Moço, meaning boy, and moça, girl. It is common to address the people around you like this. Moço, moço. Moça, moça. Moço, você fala inglês? Moça, você fala inglês? Now we'll see how to talk with a person older than you. It is very easy. You just need to change você into o senhor or a senhora. That means sir and madam in English. Everything else stays the same. O senhor fala inglês? O senhor fala inglês? A senhora fala inglês? A senhora fala inglês? Adding com licença, excuse me, the sentence becomes more polite. Com licença, moço, você fala inglês? Com licença, moço, você fala inglês? Or, com licença, o senhor fala inglês? Com licença, o senhor fala inglês? The responses you receive could be one of these three. Sim, yes. Sim, pouco, a little. Pouco. Não, eu não falo inglês. No, I don't speak English. Não, eu não falo inglês. Since this last one is a negative statement, we need to say não before the verb falar. It is conjugated in the first person, eu falo. So, I don't speak is eu não falo. Now it's time for Paloma's point. For those of you who are not only English speakers, you can obviously use this question with any other language you need. Some people in Brazil study other languages at school, so maybe you get lucky. Just substitute English with Italiano for Italian, Russo for Russian, Espanhol for Spanish, Alemão for German, or any other language. In this lesson, we mentioned the expression com licença. But did you know that this could also be used as an apology? In the next lesson, we will learn this and other ways to apologize in Portuguese. It's never too late to show your good manners with Brazilian people. I'll see you in our next Português em 3 minutos lesson. Até mais! In the last lesson, we learned the phrase com licença, você fala inglês? Excuse me, do you speak English? We mentioned the phrase com licença, which means excuse me in Portuguese. In this lesson, we are going to learn how to use com licença and other words when apologizing in Portuguese. We should use com licença to get someone's attention, such as when you want to pass by them. For example, com licença, eu posso passar? Excuse me, may I pass by you? We can also use it when asking a question. Com licença, você sabe onde fica a praia de Copacabana? Excuse me, do you know where Copacabana Beach is? Another similar phrase is desculpa. This word literally means without guilt, but we use it similarly to the English I'm sorry. Desculpa. Desculpa can be used for either excuse me or I'm sorry. But what if you really want to apologize for something? There is a different phrase you might want to use. Você me desculpa? Would you forgive me? Você me desculpa. First, we have você, that means you, followed by me, which means me, and the verb desculpar referring to você, which is desculpa or forgive. One last way to apologize is using perdão, the same as pardon in English. But this is not used as much as desculpa in Brazil. Perdão. And what to answer when someone says desculpa? There are many ways to answer. You can say tudo bem. Everything's fine. Tudo bem. Or não tem problema. No problem. Não tem problema. Or não se preocupe. Don't worry. Não se preocupe. Following the verb desculpa, you can also answer está desculpado. You're forgiven. Está desculpado. Now it's time for Paloma's points. Brazilians tend to exaggerate. You might hear mil desculpas or I'm sorry 1,000 times, or even bigger numbers as milhão, a million, to express they are really sorry.
When learning a new language, we sometimes have a hard time with things like procrastination, discouragement, or failure. But don't panic. With a good strategy, you'll be able to overcome these difficulties. Are you ready to discover the 4 habits of successful learners? Number 1. Optimize your time. When learning a language, it's important to dedicate time to your studies regularly, even if sometimes it's difficult. You're busy with school, work, family, or friends. But you can spread out your learning throughout the day. Study whenever you have small gaps of time in your busy schedule. This can be when you're on the metro, on your lunch break, or while you're exercising. Our podcast learning format fits perfectly into your tight schedule. Number 2, consistency with your chosen method. There are a lot of options when it comes to courses and learning materials. Switching from one method to another can confuse you and disrupt your progress. Focusing on one learning method will make a difference. Our method has been created and optimized by real teachers, so you can stick to it with confidence. Number 3, use your language background. Many languages share some commonalities. You can find words that look or sound similar, or even share the same grammar structure. A little bit of language background will give you an edge while learning. Number 4, study continuously. People are excited when they start learning a new language. The enthusiasm usually lasts until the first roadblock. This can lead to discouragement and procrastination. But don't burn yourself out. Learning a language is a marathon, not a sprint. Don't try to learn it all at once. Break things down into more digestible chunks. Learning step by step might feel slow, but it's an efficient way to learn a language. With patience, motivation, and good resources, you'll master the language. Remember, you can't learn a language overnight.
But with motivation and these daily lessons, you'll be on the road to fluency. When learning a new language, everyone should have an ultimate goal to work towards. Whether you want to be able to connect with a relative, easily order food while traveling, or go somewhere new, having an end goal for your learning can be very motivating. A popular but challenging goal is being able to speak like a native speaker. It's difficult to measure exactly when you reach this goal, and it's not something you can pick up using textbooks alone. So how do you work on making your speech more natural? That's what we're going to look at today. Here are 3 tips to help you practice talking like a native speaker. Number 1, focus on vocabulary. If your goal is to speak like a native, you might be really focused on speaking quickly or using as many complex grammar patterns as possible. But in our native languages, we're not always trying to speak as fast as possible, and we use complex grammar patterns when necessary, not to show off. Vocabulary, however, is extremely important to expressing ourselves naturally. Your choice of words can reveal a lot about you and your understanding of the language. Most learners have had the experience of using a phrasebook or a dictionary to find a word they want to use, trying the word in conversation, and getting a look of confusion from the native speaker. In some cases, although your word choice may be grammatically correct, the word may be inappropriate for the situation or totally unnatural. This is especially important in business and other formal situations, where the right level of formality and professionalism is key. Being able to understand nuances in vocabulary words can also help you understand relationships between people just by listening to the conversation. Try to listen to many different types of conversations. Listen to how people talk to their friends, their superiors, and in customer service situations. This will give you a better idea of how to talk to others naturally. In some languages, you can omit words from sentences or use more direct communication styles. It's important to be aware of these things so you can apply them yourself. Colloquialisms and slang are also commonly used in most languages. As this sort of vocabulary is always evolving, it can be difficult to keep up with the latest words. Talk with native speakers and consume media in your target language to make sure you pick up these kinds of expressions. Media is a great resource for your learning. Ultimately, knowing the appropriate vocabulary to use for each situation will really help you sound more knowledgeable. Number 2, perfect your accent. With every language, there are unique pronunciation and intonation challenges. Some languages are tonal languages, and a change in pitch can completely change the meaning of a word. Then there's the fact that most countries have multiple dialects, and so people from one area of the country may sound different from those in another. So what is the best way to listen to a wide range of accents and different pronunciations? Video and audio resources are a great way to do this. YouTube is a perfect place to start because people from all kinds of different backgrounds upload videos to the platform. You can watch educational videos, daily life vlogs, cooking shows, a travel series, whatever interests you. Pay attention to the different ways people speak. Everyone is unique. And then practice speaking like them. This kind of practice can help you sound more natural. One note, please be aware of the type of resources you're using. For example, if you find a video where a speaker uses a rare dialect, it might not be a good idea to use that for your pronunciation practice, unless you have a special reason for studying a specific accent. As a general rule, it's best to try to search for practice resources that use a standard form of the language you're studying. Number 3, copy what you hear. Do you remember how you learned to speak as a child? We rarely learned new words just listening to them, or reading after we learned how. When we were little kids, we imitated the sounds we heard by repeating the sounds out loud. While you're talking to a friend, watching videos, or listening to audio in your target language, you can do this to try and replicate the way they speak. Doing this will help you work on mastering the flow of the language, your accent, intonation, and pronunciation. Of course, you might also pick up some new vocabulary this way. Make sure to repeat new words often. It's a great way to make sure you remember them. Try doing this using a number of different mediums and sources. That way, you'll be exposed to the diversity that the language offers and master the fundamentals of pronunciation. For example, you can watch and imitate several different YouTube videos and audio CDs, but try a few different sources, like different creators or different audio types, to make sure you experience a wide range of communication in your target language. If you're using our language learning program, you can even get your own teacher with Premium Plus. Your teacher can answer questions, give assignments, and even listen to your recordings and give you advice on pronunciation. Completing these kinds of lessons with a native teacher can really boost your confidence in your speaking skills. Becoming able to speak like a native is a popular goal for many people learning a new language. It feels great to be able to communicate smoothly, especially when the people you're talking to expect basic level sentences or broken communication. Try using the tips we've shared in this video to work on improving your speaking skills. Of course, it'll take time and persistence, but the reward will be more natural communication. And for even more tips on speaking, check out our complete language learning program. Sign up for your free lifetime account by clicking on the link in the description. Get tons of resources to have you speaking in your target language. And if you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share the video with anyone who's trying to learn a new language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. I'll see you next time. Bye! Want to know how to improve your listening and speaking skills, be able to save conversations, listen to them as many times as you want, and learn hundreds of practical everyday conversations? Well, there is an easy way to do this. In this video, we'll go over how to speak more using the dialogue track. So, what is the dialogue track? The dialogue track is an audio track with just the conversation from the lesson. It's only about 10 to 30 seconds long. Let's say you're looking at a 5-minute lesson about ordering food at a restaurant. First, you hear a conversation. Then our teachers explain every grammar rule and translate every word, so you know what it all means. That's where the dialogue track comes in. It gives you just the conversation. Here's what makes the dialogue track so powerful. First, you can quickly review the conversation without re-listening to the lesson. The dialogue track is just 10 to 30 seconds long, so it won't take you very long to cover both new and old information. This makes it perfect for a quick review of what you've just learned, and it helps keep it fresh in your brain. Second, you'll remember the conversations easier. Listen on repeat, like you would with a song, and the words, phrases, and grammar rules will stick better. And the more you come back to re-listen, the better it will all stick. Third, you'll speak more of your target language. So if you have 10, 20, or 100 dialogue tracks like that, then you have 10, 20, or 100 conversations that you'll know inside out and that you can use in real life. For example, conversations like catching up with friends, ordering at a restaurant, talking about your family, introducing yourself, and much, much more. Fourth, you improve your listening skills and can immerse yourself in the language. So imagine you've finished 20 lessons and you've downloaded 20 dialogue tracks to your phone. That's 20 conversations. You can create a playlist and play those 20 tracks and get used to the language and immerse yourself. To recap what we just learned, here's what you do to make the most of the dialogue tracks. First, after you finish a lesson, download the dialogue track. Save it to your computer or phone so you can listen to it on repeat whenever possible. Just replace 3 to 15 minutes of music listening for some language review. Next, if you've finished 20 lessons, you should have 20 dialogue tracks. Use those to create a playlist of these dialogue tracks so that you can listen to all kinds of conversations. And finally, try shadowing the conversations that you hear. This will become super easy once you've heard the conversation enough times. But if you're still struggling with a word or two, go back to the lesson and check the line-by-line breakdown of the conversation to find the words you need to practice. Boost your speaking skills with the dialogue track and check out our complete language learning program. Sign up for your free lifetime account by clicking on the link in the description. Get tons of resources to have you speaking in your target language. And if you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share the video with anyone who's trying to learn a new language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. I'll see you next time. Bye! Want to speak your target language with confidence and impress native speakers? When learning to speak a new language, you have lots of things to think about, including grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation. Because you're thinking of all of these things and trying to speak, it can be difficult to communicate with confidence, especially in the beginning. This is why it's helpful to make confidence-building exercises part of your language learning process. In this video, you'll learn 7 ways to boost your confidence. 1. Read out loud. This might seem pretty basic, but it's a great way to practice speaking. Reading aloud lets you practice speaking without having to think about grammar or things to talk about. Reading out loud lets you focus on your pronunciation and the rhythm of the language. It can help you learn to speak more smoothly and quickly, without even thinking about it. If you're using our lessons, read the dialogue out loud as you listen. You can read along with the dialogue tool, the lesson notes, or the transcript. 2. Read like a child. This might sound strange, but think about children learning to read. They go slow and sound everything out. Maybe it takes 2 or 3 tries before they read a new word smoothly, and a few more tries before they can read it at a natural pace. This example applies to language learning too. If you find a complex sentence in something you're reading, read it slowly at first, then speed up. With practice, you'll be able to say it easily. It might feel a bit silly to speak very slowly, but this kind of practice can help you identify tough sounds you might miss or say incorrectly when reading quickly. 3. Use the dialogue breakdown tool. If you're using our site, this is a great tool to take advantage of. It breaks down lesson conversations into individual lines. You can listen to the audio for each line, learn what each line means, and can reread and review as much as you want. 4. Use the voice recorder to record and compare yourself with native speakers. Just click on the microphone icon next to each line in the dialogue section. You can use this tool to perfect your pronunciation if you like, but this is also something you can use to work on speaking with confidence at native level speed. You'll find this tool in the dialogue section of all of our lessons. 5. Repeat and review old lesson conversations. Reviewing what you've studied in the past is the best way to make sure you maintain what you've learned. Go back to older lessons, download the lesson dialogue tracks, and re-listen to the conversations again and again. Or you can reread the dialogue lines from previous lessons until you've mastered them all. 6. Shadow conversations. Repeat what you hear out loud. This tactic is important, but it can be tricky when you're doing a brand new lesson. If you're reviewing dialogues from lessons you've done though, it's super easy to do. Just listen to the dialogue and repeat what you hear. Shadowing means mimicking the speaker as soon as they speak, following their intonation and rhythms as closely as possible. 7. Send recordings to your Premium Plus teacher. If you want to speak with confidence, there's no better confidence boost than feedback from a native speaker, and you get just that with a Premium Plus teacher. You can record yourself reciting a lesson dialogue or any dialogue of your own, and your teacher will give you specific tips on how to improve. From the tips your teacher gives you, choose at least one and practice, practice, practice. Being able to react quickly and with confidence in a conversation is typically not something you can do on your first try, but if you continue practicing, you'll gradually find yourself speaking with ease. And for even more ways to build your speaking confidence, check out our complete language learning program. Sign up for your free lifetime account by clicking on the link in the description. Get tons of resources to have you speaking in your target language. And if you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share the video with anyone who's trying to learn a new language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. I'll see you next time. Bye! When you start out learning a foreign language, everything is exciting. You pick up new words and basic phrases fairly quickly. The first time you say a greeting or answer the question, "How are you?" you might even get a little thrill. Speaking fluently doesn't feel that far off, and at this point, it really does seem like language learning isn't all that difficult. But after a week or two, things begin to change. After a few weeks of study, you start to hit walls as you're faced with strange grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation. Everything about learning a new language seemed promising and hopeful before, but now you start to realize how difficult it's going to be. Speaking the language now feels like a long, far-off goal that you may or may not achieve one day. But don't let the innocence of being an absolute beginner or the disillusionment of being an experienced learner discourage you from learning. Speaking a new language may not be as far off as you thought. In this video, we'll look at 3 tips to help you practice your speaking skills, no matter what level you're at. Number 1, practice with native speakers. Practicing with native speakers is by far one of the most effective things you can do to improve your speaking abilities. Think of speaking a foreign language as riding a bike. After a certain point, you can't read or theorize about how to do it. You have to actually do it. If you can practice speaking with native speakers who correct you and give good feedback, then you'll be well on your way to improving your speaking. But where can you find native speakers to practice with? If you live in or near a major city, there's a good chance there are some native speakers there. You might even get lucky and discover an entire community. Do a little research into the demographics of your city, or simply keep your eyes open the next time you go through town. You can also attend a language exchange or cultural event. Meetup is a site for local enthusiast groups, and there are usually some language-speaking clubs or cultural clubs there. If you're unable to find native speakers where you live, then jump online and find them there. There are a lot of free online exchanges that allow you to connect with other language learners from all over the globe via text, audio, or video chat. Look for a speaker who is learning your native language. You can spend an hour or so helping each other in your respective target languages. This is a highly practical and helpful way to learn. It's also a great way to learn more directly about the culture you're studying in a real way. Number 2, devote some time to learning pronunciation. Pronunciation often isn't the first skill people think of working on when learning a foreign language, but that doesn't mean that it isn't important. Truth be told, you don't absolutely need a great accent to speak or understand every language. However, a decent accent can vastly improve your listening and speaking abilities in ways you might not expect. Being able to pronounce words and sounds makes it a lot easier for you to remember and understand new words simply by hearing them. If you can physically make a sound with your mouth, then you can mentally remember it. Once you have a good accent, the new language won't sound as foreign as it once did, and you'll be able to understand rapid speech, as well as pick up the definition of new words based on their conversational context. But how can you improve your accent? If you're serious about developing your accent, then you'll want to dissect the language's sound system into its individual parts. First by letters, then individual words, followed by whole phrases. Start doing some mild research on the phonetics of your target language. You don't have to get too technical here. Just try to get an idea of some of the main differences between it and your native language. Find out where native speakers usually put their tongue while saying certain sounds, or pay attention to the shape of their mouths when they speak. Is it open or closed? These subtle differences are what really help you improve. Once you get the letters down, start listening to native audio and compare your pronunciation to the native speakers. Our language learning program's playback feature is a great way to accomplish this. Take a phrase from a lesson and start by practicing the individual words, playing the audio back at a slower speed and then again at a regular speed. After comparing your speech to the audio, combine the words to make complete phrases, imitating the intonation of the native speakers. This precise method of pronunciation practice is one of the most efficient and effective ways to learn pronunciation. Number 3, imitate, don't just repeat. Anytime you speak, do your best to imitate the native speakers you've heard and practice with. Match the way their intonation rises and falls. Pay attention to their word order. It's even a good idea to match some of their body language. This degree of imitation will probably feel weird at first, but it reinforces fluency in the language and breaks you out of the parrot trap, where you simply learn and speak through rote memorization or repetition. This is a common problem that's often cited with other less effective language learning methods. Speaking a language is like playing music or dancing. You don't want to just know it. You want to live in the moment and feel it as you use it. You don't sit and think of what you're going to say in your native language before you say it. Why would you expect to do the same in a new one? Don't let ruffled expectations make you think that speaking a new language is impossible. Yes, it's difficult, but it probably isn't as difficult as you think it is. With a little determination and some faithful practice, you might be surprised how quick and how far you can progress. Use these tips to better practice the language and see real results in your speaking abilities. And for even more ways to practice your speaking, check out our complete language learning program. Sign up for your free lifetime account by clicking on the link in the description. Get tons of resources to have you speaking in your target language. And if you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share the video with anyone who's trying to learn a new language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. I'll see you next time. Bye! Want to speed up your language learning? Take your very first lesson with us. You'll start speaking in minutes and master real conversations. Sign up for your free lifetime account. Just click the link in the description.